Hi, I'm Davina. At 17, I should be worried about college applications and prom dates, not whether my 6-year-old sister remembered her lunch or if my twin toddler brothers had their diapers changed. But that's been my life since I was 9, when my father walked out and my mother decided that having more children would somehow fill the void he left. Davina, can you get the twins ready while I make breakfast? Mom called from the kitchen, her voice carrying that same exhausted tone it always had these days. I'm trying to finish my essay, Mom. It's due today, I replied, frantically typing on my laptop at the dining table. My 12-year-old sister Lily appeared in the doorway, already dressed for school. I can help with the twins, she offered quietly. I shook my head. No, you focus on getting yourself ready. I'll handle it. But you always handle it, Lily said, her eyes showing a maturity beyond her years. And you look tired. I was up until 2 finishing this chemistry project, I admitted, rubbing my eyes. Mom walked in, her bathrobe stretched over her slightly rounded belly. Girls, I need to talk to you both. Where are Jamie and Ellie? Jamie's brushing his teeth. Ellie's still asleep, Lily reported. Can it wait, Mom? I really need to finish this, I pleaded, gesturing at my laptop. This is important, Davina. Mom sat down heavily at the table. I went to the doctor yesterday. Something in her tone made me look up from my screen. Are you sick? No, she said, a strange smile spreading across her face. I'm pregnant. The room went silent. I felt like someone had doused me with ice water. Again? Lily whispered. It's a blessing, Mom insisted, her hand moving to her stomach. Another little one to love. Another little one for Davina to raise, you mean? Lily muttered. Lily! Mom snapped. I stared at my mother, really seeing her for the first time in years. The perpetually tired eyes, the forced cheerfulness, the way she'd check out emotionally whenever things got hard. Who's going to take care of this one, Mom? I asked quietly. We all will, as a family, she answered, not meeting my eyes. No, I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. I won't. Mom's head snapped up. What do you mean? I'm 17. I've been parenting since I was 9. I've changed more diapers than you have. I've missed school dances, study groups, and sleep to take care of your children. Our family, she corrected. No, your children. Your responsibility. I closed my laptop. I love my siblings, but I can't do this anymore. Davina, don't be dramatic. We need you. That's the problem, Mom. You need me too much. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend, Maya. Still picking you up today? I'm moving out, I said, the decision crystallizing as I spoke the words. What? Where would you even go? Mom laughed nervously. Maya's parents offered months ago. They have a spare room. You can't just abandon your family. Mom's voice rose sharply, waking 4-year-old Ellie, who appeared in the doorway rubbing her eyes. Vina? Ellie's small voice cut through the tension. Why is everyone yelling? It's okay, sweetie, I said, kneeling down to her level. Grown-up talk? You're not grown up, Mom scoffed. You're a child making a childish decision. No, Mom, I said, standing up straight. I'm the child who never got to be a child because you kept having babies you expected me to raise. As if on cue, the twins started crying from upstairs. Go, I told Mom. They need their mother, not their sister. After dropping the kids at school, I called Maya. By that afternoon, I had packed my essential belongings. 2 days later, I was settled in Maya's family's spare room, finally able to focus on my own life. But peace didn't last long. A week later, as I stood chatting with Maya by our lockers, a commotion erupted in the hallway. Where is she? Where's my daughter? Mom's voice echoed down the corridor. She stood at the school entrance, the twins in a double stroller, and Ellie clutching her hand, all of them looking lost and disheveled. Oh God, I whispered to Maya. She brought them here. Davina! Mom spotted me and pushed through the crowd of curious students. You need to come home right now. The twins won't stop crying for you, and Ellie refused to eat breakfast. Maya stepped slightly in front of me. Mrs. Carter, you can't just barge into school like this. Stay out of this, Mom snapped. This is family business. Is everything all right here? Mr. Patterson, my English teacher, approached with a concerned expression. No, Mom said, tears welling in her eyes. My daughter abandoned her family when we need her most. Students were gathering, phones out, whispering. My cheeks burned with humiliation. Mom, you need to leave, I hissed. This isn't the place. When is the place? You won't answer my calls. Mrs. Carter, Mr. Patterson intervened. Let's continue this conversation in the office. As we walked, Ellie broke away from Mom and ran to me, wrapping her arms around my waist. I miss you, Vina. I miss you too, sweetie, I whispered, fighting tears. In the principal's office, Mom continued her performance. She just left us, with no warning. That's not true, I countered. I told you I was leaving. You just didn't believe me. Miss Carter? Principal Winters addressed me. Your mother says you've been helping care for your siblings? Helping? I've been their primary caretaker since I was 9 years old. That's ridiculous, Mom scoffed. I'm their mother. When was the last time you took the twins to a doctor's appointment? I challenged. Or helped Lily with her homework? Or knew what Jamie's favorite dinosaur is? Mom stared blankly. It's a stegosaurus, I said quietly. Has been for 3 years? Mr. Patterson shifted uncomfortably. Mrs. Carter, how many children do you have? 6. Soon to be 7, she replied, straightening proudly. Principal Winters' eyebrows shot up. And you expect Davina to help care for them all? She's always been so good with them. It's just until I get back on my feet. It's been 8 years, Mom, I said, my voice breaking. You're never getting back on your feet because you keep having more children. We should involve the school counselor, Principal Winters suggested. That won't be necessary, Mom said quickly. Davina, gather your things. We're going home. I'm not going anywhere, I replied firmly. You're underage. You have to do what I say. Actually, Mr. Patterson interjected, there are protocols for situations like this. The school counselor, Miss Ramirez, joined us moments later. After hearing both sides, she asked to speak with me privately. Davina, this sounds like parentification, she explained gently. It's a form of family dysfunction where a child takes on parental responsibilities. I just thought it was normal, I admitted. Being the oldest? There's a difference between occasional babysitting and what you're describing, Miss Ramirez said. Have you considered speaking with Child Protective Services? My stomach clenched. I don't want my siblings taken away. I just want to be a teenager. There are other options. Family intervention, parenting classes, support services. As I left Miss Ramirez's office, I found Maya waiting with my backpack. Your mom left, she reported. After the counselor mentioned CPS, she grabbed the kids and stormed out. She'll be back, I sighed. She can't manage without me. That's not your problem, Maya insisted. But the kids can be helped in ways that don't involve sacrificing your life, came a new voice. Miss Ramirez had followed me out. I've contacted a family resource specialist who'd like to meet with you. She works with families like yours. That afternoon, I met Diane Chen from Family First Services. Her calm demeanor and practical questions made me feel heard for the first time. I don't want revenge, I explained. I just want my mom to step up. Sometimes, Diane replied, accountability is the best path forward for everyone. 3 days later, I sat in Diane's office across from my mother. The atmosphere was thick with tension. I don't understand why we're here, Mom said, fidgeting with her purse strap. This is a private family matter. Mrs. Carter, Diane began. Davina has described a situation that concerns me professionally. As a mandated reporter, I'm obligated to ensure all children in your home are properly cared for. Are you threatening to take my children? Mom's voice rose in panic. No one is making threats, Diane replied calmly. We're here to discuss support services that could benefit your family. We don't need services. We need Davina to come home and help like she's supposed to. I clenched my fists under the table. That's exactly the problem, Mom. It's not my job to raise your children. You've never complained before. I've complained constantly. You just never listened. Diane raised a hand. Let's focus on solutions. Mrs. Carter, with another child on the way, how do you plan to manage? The same way I always have, Mom replied stubbornly. With Davina as unpaid childcare? Diane asked pointedly. She's exaggerating her responsibilities, Mom insisted. All teenagers babysit. Babysitting is occasional, I countered. I've been getting up at night with the twins since they were born. I'm the one who takes them to the doctor, helps with homework, makes lunches, does laundry. Because you're good at it, Mom interrupted. You've always been so mature. Because I had to be. You checked out after Dad left. Don't bring him into this. Mrs. Carter, Diane interjected. From what Davina describes, she's been functioning as a parent, not a sibling. That's inappropriate regardless of her maturity. So what am I supposed to do? Mom demanded. I can't afford childcare for 6 kids. That's exactly my point, Diane said. There are several assistance programs you qualify for, including subsidized childcare, parenting classes, and family therapy. I don't need parenting classes, Mom scoffed. Mom, I said quietly, when was the last time you attended one of Jamie's parent-teacher conferences? She frowned. I've been busy with the twins. His teacher doesn't even know what you look like. She thought I was his mother. Mom's face flushed red. You had no right to go behind my back like this. I didn't want to, I admitted. But showing up at my school with the kids was the last straw. I needed you to come home. No, Mom, the kids needed their mother to be present. Mrs. Carter, Diane said firmly, I'm offering resources to help your family. The alternative is a formal CPS investigation. Mom's expression shifted from anger to fear. You wouldn't. I would, I said, surprising myself with my resolve. Not to hurt you, but to protect the kids. You're betraying your family, Mom hissed. No, I countered, tears filling my eyes. I'm finally putting myself first after years of putting everyone else first. And maybe if you accept the help being offered, the little ones won't have to grow up as fast as I did. This is ridiculous. Mom stood up abruptly. I'm leaving. Mrs. Carter, Diane's voice was steel-wrapped in velvet. Walking out of this meeting will trigger an automatic report to Child Protective Services. Is that what you want? Mom froze, then slowly sank back into her chair. I'm not the bad guy here, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I've done my best. I know, I said, softening slightly. But your best isn't enough anymore. Not for 6 kids, and definitely not for 7. I can't lose my children, Mom sobbed. Then accept the help, Diane urged. Start with the parenting classes and family therapy. Show that you're willing to improve the situation. Mom looked at me pleadingly. Will you come home if I do? No, I said firmly. But I'll visit. I'll still be their sister, just not their mother. 6 weeks later, I met Mom at the family center for our supervised visit. She looked different, hair neatly styled, wearing clean clothes, arriving precisely on time. The parenting class instructor says punctuality shows respect, she explained when I commented on it. This was our new normal structured visits under Diane's watchful eye while Mom completed her required services. How are the classes going? I asked. Humiliating, she admitted. But necessary. I didn't realize how much I'd been putting on you until I had to do it all myself. Even with the support services? Even with them. She looked away. The therapist says I've been expecting you to fill the void your father left. At the center, my siblings erupted with excitement when they saw me. Lily, composed as always, gave me a knowing look. Mom actually made dinner last night, she whispered as we hugged. It was edible and everything. I noticed small changes. Mom was more attentive. The younger kids seemed less anxious, and Lily looked like a 12-year-old instead of a miniature adult. As our time wound down, Mom pulled me aside while Diane supervised the others. I've been thinking about what you said about me having another baby when I can't manage the ones I have, Mom began nervously. And? I prompted. I'm looking into adoption. she said quietly. For the baby. I stared at her in shock. That's a huge decision. It's the right one, she insisted. I can barely handle 6 kids with all this support. A 7th would push us back to where we were, with someone having to pick up my slack. As the visit ended, Mom asked hesitantly, Will you ever come home, Davina? I don't know, I answered honestly. But this isn't about punishing you. It's about me finishing high school without being a parent before I become an adult. Later that evening, I sat with Maya on her family's porch. Mom asked if I'd come home again, I told her. What did you say? Maya asked. That I didn't know, but the truth is, I don't think I will, at least not to live. Is that your way of getting back at her? I considered this. No, it's my way of finally putting myself first. The family services are helping Mom become a better parent. My siblings are getting what they need, and I'm applying to colleges without worrying about who's bathing the twins. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily. Mom signed Jamie up for soccer like he wanted. She's actually taking him to practice herself. Progress. I smiled and showed Maya the message. The best revenge isn't about hurting the person who hurt you, I said. It's about breaking the cycle so no one else gets hurt the same way. I looked up at the stars, feeling lighter than I had in years. Sometimes standing your ground isn't about winning. It's about refusing to lose yourself any longer. So what happens next? Maya asked. I live my life, I replied simply. And for once, it gets to be actually mine. Have you ever had to set a boundary that felt like betrayal to someone else but salvation to yourself? Sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought with anger, but with the quiet determination to finally put yourself first.